Resilient, that's how Absa has described its annual performance. The banking group says the operating environment was weaker than expected given load shedding, sticky inflation and high interest rates, which all weighed on growth. But it nevertheless managed to eke out a 1% rise in headline earnings. That has increased costs dampened revenue growth during the period and impairments rose. A dividend of R13.70 has been declared, which is 5% higher than the previous period. Looking ahead, Absa expects high single-digit revenue growth in 2024. South Africa's troubles have weighed on Ethos Capital. The investment firm says the value of its listed investments, that being Brait and MTN Zakhele Futhi, came under pressure due to poor investor sentiment given South Africa's slower growth and load shedding. And as a result, the company's net asset value per share fell 15% during the half year. RFG has navigated a challenging operating environment to deliver growth. The food producer says revenue for the 5 months ended February has ticked up 5%. That's as it was met with weak consumer demand and exports were under pressure given the inefficiencies and congestion at the Cape Town port. RFG's interim results will be released on the 22nd of May. Met Air expects to return to profitability in the year to end December. The automotive components manufacturer has forecast a headline earnings per share of between 128 and 140 cents. That's from a loss of 17 cents previously. The turnaround comes as the group has focused on the recovery of its wiring business at its managed associate, Hesto Harness, and the stabilization of its Turkey division. Building confidence has plummeted. The FNB-BR sentiment indicator declined to 27 points in the first quarter, marking its lowest level since mid-2020. The data shows that more than 70% of respondents are dissatisfied with prevailing business conditions, and the outlook isn't a rosy one. FNB senior economist Siphamandla Mkhwanazi says the building sector is likely to continue to underperform, given that activity at the start of the building pipeline in relation to architects and quantity surveyors fared dismally. And support for the African National Congress has fallen below 40%. That's according to a survey done by the Brent Hurst Foundation and the Sabi Strategy Group. The research shows that its former President Jacob Zuma party Umkhonto Wesizwe that is taking votes from the ANC as it has risen up the ranks to be the third most popular party. Support for the ANC has dwindled given its failure to end load shedding, address logistics crises and stamp out corruption. In international developments, Bitcoin has reached a new high. The biggest cryptocurrency surged to above 70,000. Bitcoin has seen record highs since the US approved its ETFs, which helped draw in a new class of buyers. Let's listen to this report for more.
Bitcoin keeps powering to record highs. On Monday, it surged past the $70,000 mark for the first time. The world's biggest cryptocurrency has surged in value since the US approved exchange-traded funds that feature it. That has helped draw in a new class of buyers. Analysts say the prospect of US rate cuts has also helped, with investors rediscovering an appetite for riskier and more volatile assets. Fans of the token argue the gains are just getting started. eToro global market strategist Ben Laidler says new developments could support a further rise.
On that long list of crypto catalysts which are sort of out there in the wings, one of the big ones further out is that central banks start buying Bitcoin and hold it as part of their foreign currency reserves, very much as they do with gold today.
Some companies have also been adding crypto to their coffers, supporting the gains. But critics say Bitcoin remains far too volatile and of limited use for anything other than speculation.
Over in Asia, the Japanese economy has dodged a technical recession. This as the nation's GDP grew 0.4% in the fourth quarter. Experts predict that this could pave the way for the Bank of Japan to finally raise interest rates. There's more in this package report.
Japan has dodged a recession after all. Revised GDP numbers out Monday showed the economy growing 0.4% over the October to December quarter. An earlier estimate had shown it contracting by the same amount. Now the economy is hardly booming, however, with the new figure well below forecasts. Private consumption, which makes up almost 2/3 of GDP, fell 0.3% over the period. Economists say it's more evidence that domestic demand remains lackluster at best. Even so, there's speculation that the numbers could finally pave the way for a rise in interest rates. Reuters sources say a growing number of policymakers at the Bank of Japan are warming to the idea of a hike this month. Data on wages will be key. Bank Governor Kazuo Ueda has said he wants to see signs of sustained increases before acting. He'll get some crucial numbers on March 15th, when the first survey of pay talks at big firms is due to be published. Ueda hopes solid wage rises will coax consumers into spending more and boost demand and prices after years of stagnation. However, Reuters sources say prospects for a rate hike this month remain in the balance. They say some policymakers may want to hold off until their April meeting, which comes after the closely watched Tankan survey of business sentiment is released.